Hey guys, I'm back with another video and oh my god, I can't even believe it. I've just like completely lost it. I have 17 HomeWorx candles here that I purchased very recently. I don't even know. So like basically the PB&J candle or whatever, like that's just a magic word for me. Like a PB&J candle comes out and it just sends me in a frenzy. So there was the PB&J candle from HomeWorx, and so there was an online order I did of that candle primarily, and then 2 other ones to like get up to free shipping and use my rewards and all that kind of stuff. So there was that. So there was an order for that, and then I was at the HomeGoods, which is next to my grocery store, and I saw the Homestyle Stuffing and the Mulberry Cobbler, which I actually did reviews on already, and so I did that. And then like every time I go on Instagram Live, people are talking about all the HomeWorx candles they find in their TJ Maxx, HomeGoods, Marshall stores, and so that was just like itching at me, and I was thinking about doing a test store run at Bath & Body Works, but I was like, instead of doing that whole trip just to buy like mostly repackaged candles, let me do a HomeWorx pilgrimage and like go and seek out all the Marshalls, TJ Maxx, HomeGoods store in like a 1 hour radius. And so I did that. And so I think I did one pilgrimage, was it last weekend, I think? And I went to one side of the state, or like one side of the 1 hour radius, so to speak, and oh my god, it's like absolutely nothing, zero whatsoever. And then I went today to the other side, about 1 hour away, and checked all those out, and then bam, it was just like so many HomeWorx candles everywhere, I just couldn't believe it. Like there was 2 stores that were literally just like, basically like all the fall offerings from HomeWorx were just like dumped at those stores, and it was just absolutely insane. I wasn't expecting to see that much, and then so of course when I saw all those, and so many of them that were new fragrances I haven't smelled before, I just lost it, and I bought so much. So yes, so that is today's video. Is a massive HomeWorx haul, and so you guys know, once again, I have my ups and downs with HomeWorx, but I do have to say, out of the last order, the Pear Blossom was absolute trash, like completely unscented and just terrible. I couldn't smell it. The Suede Rose was actually pretty good. I could smell it. I didn't love the fragrance, but it was different enough, and it had a pretty good like medium plus throw, so I was happy about that. And then the Balsam and Berries or whatever that was, or Birch and Berries, it's not like Mountain Dew, but it had a pretty like strong throw, so I was happy about that. And then the Homestyle Stuffing and the Mulberry Cobbler were all in the medium to medium plus range, and I didn't have any problems there, so I was like, okay, these candles seem to be like kind of all right again. So once again, I did the pilgrimage to all the random stores, and here we are. So yes, where do I even start? If you're looking for candles, I would say, just from my anecdotal experience, if you're looking for the HomeWorx candles at these stores, I feel like TJ Maxx had the least amount. They would only maybe have like 2 or 3 of them, just like sort of here and there. If it was a standalone Marshalls, I would see a few more at the Marshall stores, but the stores that had the most, that had like just the absolute hookup in terms of candles, I mean like 20, 30 plus HomeWorx candles in inventory, at least for me, were the stores that were the HomeGoods and Marshall side by side, where it was like the really large stores were the HomeGoods side and the Marshall side, and both stores were in a very, very populated shopping center with a ton of other stores. And then if you go to the HomeGoods side, that's when I saw just crazy amounts of HomeWorx candles like I've never seen before, and that's where I scored most of these candles. I went to a standalone HomeGoods store, and that's where I found like the stuffing one and the cobbler one, but the variety there wasn't that great either. It was just like one-off here and there, so obviously like your mileage will very much vary, but for me, like today's experience was of noting that the side-by-side HomeGoods and Marshall stores in a very large shopping complex were the ones that had just like an absolute insane amount of HomeWorx candles. So that's where most of these came from. It was just absolutely crazy. So here we go. I guess I'll do the online order and then the in-store finds. So these were all $16.99. The ones at HomeGoods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, all those were all $16.99. The ones online, I think like between like the free shipping and the being able to use the rewards plus the sale price for Labor Day weekend, brought them up to like 15 or 16 bucks, and that was like with free shipping. So it was pretty much on par with what you find in store, so I was happy about that. But the one candle that just like started the frenzy was of course the peanut butter and raspberry jam. Oh my god, I don't know what it is about got these friggin' PB&J candles that just absolutely send me in a frenzy. And so we have this one. It's funny, I ordered this online, but then I actually found 2 of them in a store today when I was doing my rounds. So I did pick up a second backup one, just because I liked the way it smelled on cold, and then when I got home, the second one was delivered in the package. And I'm actually already burning the one right now, and I can actually smell it. It's like a good like 5 or 6 in this open concept area. I have no issue smelling it, and it actually smells pretty nice. So like I'll probably keep the second one. Like I rarely repurchase candles, but something about PB&J candles I just have a really weak spot for. So that one I did snag a second one, and I plan to keep it. So peanut butter, raspberry jam. Let's see, peanut butter, raspberry jam, caramelized sugar, and vanilla bean. This one has like a red wax on it, and that's what that looks like right there. The batch numbers on both the one that I found at the Marshall / HomeGoods, and the one that I got delivered to me from HomeWorx.shop, those are both the same batch codes. So I know sometimes there's some speculation of whether or not the ones that get sent to the like Marshall's HomeGoods stores are like second rate or like B quality candles, but like they have the same batch number and everything on it. So just throwing that out there. But peanut butter and raspberry jam. So what does it smell like? Oh my God. So the raspberry jam is really strong on this. This is what I get first and foremost, and the peanut butter you kind of have to go searching for, but then like if you're looking for it, it's kind of there in the background, but you get the raspberry jam first. And then the peanut butter almost comes off as smelling like chocolate. There's almost like this, like, I don't know, like a nutty, like chocolatey feel to it. I don't know really how to explain it other than the fact that it kind of smells like raspberry jam with chocolate, or like if this was called like chocolate covered raspberries, I would totally believe it. There's something about that peanut butter that gives it like this like powdery richness that is similar to like how powdery like cocoa or chocolate notes come off. But despite that, like it still smells nice. And it's definitely in that like realm of your like raspberry jam or like a PB&J type of like that type of like a fruitiness mixed with like a nutty gourmand action is captured in here. It's definitely like not a PB&J I've smelled anywhere else, and that's the one thing I appreciate about HomeWorx is that like even if they do a fragrance that's kind of like similar to other brands, there's usually like a different take on it that I appreciate, and this is not quite as like, I don't know, I guess obvious as some of the other ones. I don't know, but yeah, I enjoy it. I think the raspberry jam is definitely stronger than the peanut butter, but when you burn it, it kind of smells like chocolate covered raspberries, but I don't mind that. So that was the peanut butter and raspberry jam right there. And of course, how does it compare to all the other PB&Js? So we have the iconic, the one and only BBW PB&J, which I guess was like early to the PB&J trend. Fresh strawberry jam, toasted bread, crunchy peanut butter, and drizzle of honey. Ooh, oh my God, yeah, this one's the weirdest, but because it is so weird, I think it's the most fun and the most like iconic for sure. There's that weird, I don't know what it is, that like mahogany apple mixed with like a toast note, like there's a breadiness mixed with like the mahogany apple, like sweet cologne vibe, with like that crunchy peanut butter, and like the mahogany apple kind of lends like the fruitiness of mahogany apple is I guess what the strawberry jam is. Oh my God, so weird, but like so nutty and awesome too. There's something a little bit more like roasty or toasty about this. Like not the same fragrance. Yeah, they're like total, not, I don't want to say totally different, but they're like not at all the same whatsoever. Like this one has so much more of that, just the weirdness going on with the like the mahogany apple and the toastiness. Yeah, it's funny because like usually like HomeWorx is the one that's like so many layers and so complex and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, this is like so much more complex and so much more like stuff going on in this candle. But that was what was so fun about it. Yeah, this one's still the reigning champ of just like weirdness but like awesome at the same time. So definitely not that. And then we have the PB&J ice cream, which I also just went crazy for from the ice cream drop. Raspberry jelly, vanilla ice cream, and peanut butter sauce. Yeah. This one, compared to this, like everything else seems so like diluted and weak in comparison. It's still like this one too though. But this one's more similar to raspberry, that wildberry jam donut kind of thing. There's that sort of powdery, like sort of bakery component in there. Yeah, this one is more and less on the peanut butter, to be honest. This one's actually quite heavier on like the sort of like jam donut component. and less on the peanut butter in comparison to that PB&J. And then, yeah, this one has a distinct, like a chocolatey powderiness to it, mixed with that raspberry jam. So they're all different. So like if you enjoy PB&J and you're just like a connoisseur of PB&J candles, like they all have their spot, so to speak. And the last one that I wanted to compare it to was the this specialty glass one, but I think it came out in a photo label as well. Was it Wild Berry Vanilla Bean, which is wild berries, vanilla bean, starberry, and smoked sugar. And this one I love too. I love this one from HomeWorx. And this one could be a PB&J fragrance too. Not so much on the peanut butter front, but like the jam plus like a toasty, smoky note is very evident in here. And this one, it's not the same fragrance, but it has a similar like berry jam fragrance. And then this one has like this really peculiar smoky, like that smoked sugar is like very, very prominent in here, but I love that because it gave it like an extra depth and it wasn't just another generic wild berry fragrance. Yeah, it's that like smoky vanilla is so awesome, and just like the texture of the powderiness and the smokiness is just excellent. I've never like really experienced it anywhere, but because there is a wild berry mixed with like a smoky toastiness, it's vaguely similar to this PB&J, but they're all different nonetheless. But that was my rundown of all the PB&J candles. I don't know what it is. I find so much fun in the PB&J candles. So that was that from HomeWorx. Like it's burning out and it still smells nice. It's a different take on wild berry jam and peanut butter or whatever it is. So I still enjoy it. So that was the first candle. This is going to be a super long video. I've gone on about that and like I barely touched anything else. We have Black Widow Bouquet, which I ironically also found this in store. Literally all three candles that I did my online order for, I found in store today. Black Widow Bouquet right there. Super juicy label with the roses. I love that, and we love a black lid as well. Let's see. Blackberry Fresh Cut Rose and Amber Patchouli. There was one store that had like literally the entire HomeWorx Halloween lineup. I just couldn't believe it. Black Magic was at that store, and it confirms that I do not like licorice fragrances no matter what brand it's from. Yeah, very much an interesting fragrance, but not one that I enjoyed. So Black Magic stayed there. There was some like Vampire Venom, which was some like really like overripe like berry candy fragrance. I didn't care for that. Some Blood Orange Brew thing was like a spiced orange fragrance, which are one of my least favorite fragrances, are like those spiced orange fragrances, so I didn't need that either. There was Haunted Woods in a different packaging, but I already have that, so I don't need that. There was also Midnight Moon, which was like this like a generic like leaves type of like apple spice fragrance, but there was like this weird like undertone of floral in it that was actually quite intriguing. It was in my cart for a moment, but I was like, girl, I'm going overboard, so I don't need that. But Midnight Moon was there as well. Let's see, some Poisonous Plum or something like that was another like one of those juicy like sort of berry cherry fruit fragrances, but had that extra patchouli in there that made it a little bit more like dark and mysterious, but still not, oh my god, wow, like I just don't love the super fruity juicy fragrances, so that stayed there as well. And I think that was pretty much it for the Halloween. Yeah, I couldn't believe like how much Halloween was at that one store. It was just absolutely crazy. And they actually had the Black Widow Bouquet as well, but this one I bought online from their website. And let's see, this one is, oh my god, it's like almost like a total dupe of Dark Kiss from Bath & Body Works. If you enjoy Dark Kiss from Bath & Body Works, this is so very close to it. It's that same super sugary sweet like blackberry and rose fragrance that's mixed with that like supposed patchouli and amber like body care undertone to it that gives it a little bit of like a dark depth to it, I guess because it's Dark Kiss. Yeah, and like I've bought many Dark Kiss fragrance oils on the fragrance oil market as well that smell very similar to this. Yeah, if you like Dark Kiss, I would check out Black Widow Bouquet. It's very similar to that. Moving on, also found this one in store, but this was the one that I did online, and it's Berry Pumpkin Waffles. I love this fragrance. It came in a Townhouse Duo that was with specialty hobnail glass. Was it? I think so. And it was Berry Pumpkin Waffles mixed with and the other one was Spiced Vanilla Pumpkin. Spiced Vanilla Pumpkin's pretty much just like a Summer Boardwalk repackage, which I actually saw that again in store just today. So I didn't need it because I have Summer Boardwalk, but there was that, and then the berry pumpkin waffles. And that was the rare 4-wick that was still, I think, made in the USA. So it performed flawlessly and strong throw and amazing, and I loved it. So I've been hesitant to pick out the made in Vietnam 4-wick version with this photo label, but it was a fragrance I love so much that I was like, let me get it since it's online and I need to get to my free shipping quota. Blueberry, pumpkin, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and vanilla bean. And that's what that looks like. It's like a sort of pale red wax color to it. This smells slightly different than I remember. It smells a little bit more watery and cheap, to be honest, which is a little disheartening. I feel like the original one had like this, it captured the sort of golden waffle batter quality of pumpkin pecan waffles from Bath & Body Works, and then it added this like really awesome bright juicy berry note to it. And this one just smells a little bit cheaper or stale. Compared to what I remember. And once again, those USA candles, whatever it was, just like the makeup of the wicks and the wax and the fragrance oils, they were all like just super robust and strong and awesome. And I just remember loving that one to pieces and being so sad that that 4-wick ended. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't smell exactly the same, but I guess it's close enough. But we'll have to see when it burns. So it's berry pumpkin waffles right there. Moving on, we have some like fall classics. This one's been out forever, and I think somebody was recommending it and like a long time ago, and I was just like, I'll get to when I get to it, and I saw it in store today, so I picked it up, and that is Oak and Pomegranate right there. Juicy photo label on that. Pomegranate, red currant, oak moss, and praline. I was like, what is this gonna smell like? And oh my god, this takes me so back. If it was that super obscure one-hit wonder that nobody even enjoyed or liked because no one really talked about it. Deck the Halls from, I think, 2011 from Slatkin & Co. It had that awesome green wax and the kaleidoscope like jingle bells on it. Oh my god, yeah. And that was such a weird acquired smell too. It had like a tree note mixed with like honey and something else. And this is very similar to that. Yeah, I smelled this like initially and I was like, whoa, this takes me back to like 2011, but I can't figure out what fragrance it is. And then the more I was like digging around and accessing my brain, I was like, yeah, oh my god, this totally reminds me of Deck the Halls. How crazy. But yeah, it's like this sort of woodsy tree fragrance is in there for sure, which I guess is the oak moss apparently. And then there's like a fruity, like honeyed quality, which I guess is coming from the praline. And then of course the pomegranate and the red currant in there as well. And so it's like a fruity, almost tree fragrance, but it's not your like typical pine or like, you know, like a spruce type of fragrance. There's a little bit more, I don't know, woodsy and mossy about it, mixed with like a warmer, like dark fall fruit that's coming from the pomegranate and red currant. But the mix of it together is just very reminiscent of Deck the Halls. Wow, this like totally takes me back. I can't wait to burn this and just see how it does. So that's oak and pomegranate right there. I enjoy once again how like unique and different it is. Like you're really not gonna find a fragrance like this anywhere else, and it just takes me back to like Slatkin & Co. like excellence from the golden era. So happy about that. So oak and pomegranate right there. Moving on, we have this, which I've never seen before, and that is Scarlet Woods right there. And how like haunted and creepy is that photo, even though I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that way. Let's see, Scarlet Red Woods, cardamom, clove bud, and vanilla. And that's what that looks like right there. Oh my god, this totally smells like a deviation of vanilla balsam from Bath & Body Works, and I love that. It's like a frosted balsam fragrance is what I get from it. Yeah, the notes don't really indicate that other than the vanilla in the woods. I don't really know where the cardamom and clove bud come from, but yeah, if you want like HomeWorx's take on vanilla balsam, I would say it's a little less gourmand vanilla than vanilla balsam, but very much in a similar fragrance category and very much like in a Christmas tree type of way. I like it though, I enjoy it. I love vanilla balsam, so excited to see like what HomeWorx version is. I think Balsam White Birch is also kind of in the similar category as that as well. Moving on, we have Cinnamon Apple and Honey right here. This one I went back and forth on because this is very much like a dupe of a Bath & Body Works fragrance. But sometimes there's occasions from HomeWorx where even if it's a dupe of a BBW fragrance, they actually still like kind of do it better. And Harvest Apple, Cinnamon Stick, Clover Honey, and Autumn Berries. This is just like, I just can't, like, undeniably Harvest Gathering from Bath & Body Works. Like, wow. Like, totally Harvest Gathering. It's that sort of craft store fragrance. You get like that mulled berry and apple and sort of like the cider spices in there. It legit smells just like Harvest Gathering. But like, I enjoy Harvest Gathering. It's kind of basic, but I haven't had it in such a long time that I don't mind having something similar to it again. And I want to see kind of how the HomeWorx version does and how it compares to the BBW one. But if you want Harvest Gathering, like, this is just literally HomeWorx's version of it. So that's that right there. Moving on, we have Palo Santo Pumpkin. I didn't realize these were being sent to the TJX stores, and so when I saw it, I got kind of excited, and just the absolutely most gorgeous photo label on that there, how like just moody and mysterious. Palo Santo Pumpkin Puree, Cinnamon Stick, and Suede Wood. Let's see. This one's not super strong on cold, so I'm a little nervous, and I think the original reports were saying this was really light too, so a little scared about that. But what you get from this is interesting. You get that Palo Santo in there, which is like this, it often kind of smells like, it smells rubbery. That's still a weird descriptor of it, but it kind of smells like tires or rubber, and mixed with like it's like this soft and smoky wood fragrance, almost like a rubberiness to it. Even like the BBW Palo Santo kind of smells like that too, but I get that traditional Palo Santo fragrance that kind of smells like tires and like soft smoky woods. And then the more you smell it, in the background, you almost get like this sort of like spice cookie fragrance that's coming from like sort of the pumpkin puree and the cinnamon stick, that gives it like this slightly gourmand twist to it. It's quite interesting. I like how complex and unique it is. So I kind of hope it does like throw at least a little bit so I can enjoy it. But yeah, it's like a Palo Santo spiced cookie is what I get from it. But like, don't think like the gourmand spice cookie is like that heavily gourmand and spice cookie, but like evokes that feel. Almost like you were like had a residual like crumbs of a spice cookie on a counter and you were burning a Palo Santo candle in the distance, like that type of feel to it. But yeah, interesting. It just begs the question why they can't bring back friggin' Smoked Pumpkin Woods. It was like a one-hit wonder from the very first year. Was it from 2017 in the fall specialty glass? Smoked Pumpkin Woods in the orange, yeah, it was a clear jar with orange wax on it, and it was an absolutely amazing fragrance. It was pretty much Marshmallow Fireside mixed with pumpkin pie, but the burn on it was absolutely abysmal. Like, if they could just take that candle again and reformulate it with 4 wicks and not make it unscented, like, I'd be totally on board with that. But in the meantime, I will try to enjoy Palo Santo Pumpkin. Moving on, we already know this. I just haven't had a 4-wick version of this in a while, so I just got it. Hot Cider Donut, very similar to Cinnamon Sugar Donut from Bath & Body Works, which was a Slacken & Co. fragrance. Harvest Apple, Cinnamon Sugar, Vanilla Bean, and Spice Cider. I do have to say the original 3-wick version had, even though I remember complaining about that one not having enough apple, still in comparison had more of this sort of fermented apple cider note in it, in contrast to the Vietnam version. But yeah, this is like a deviation of Cinnamon Sugar Donut. I do wish the apple cider was a little bit stronger in this. Like, it was a qualm even on the original one, but like this one's even less apple cider. But that was the Hot Cider Donut right there. It has like an updated label. I kind of missed the old one that had the cutouts on it. And speaking of apple cider, crisp apple cider right here as well, and that's what that looks like. I might just have to burn this one alongside the Hot Cider Donut to get the full experience that I'm looking for. Granny Smith apple, juicy gala apple, spiced bourbon, clove, and nutmeg. I've had this one before too, and oh my god, boy, was it juicy. It was in the other Townhouse duo. Yeah, and it was habanero, I believe, too, and it was country apple butter and the crisp apple cider together, and I think it was that rare occasion of having a 4-wick made in the USA candle, and so it burned great and it was awesome. I think it got sort of like vinegary and weird at the mid-range point, but then re-corrected itself and was like fine, and then I really kind of missed it once it was done. And it is pretty much like just a run-of-the-mill apple cider fragrance, but what I appreciate about this one is that it doesn't have that sort of like sharp vinegary fermented component that you get from, like, let's say Leaves from Bath & Body Works. Has that sharp vinegary fermented action, whereas this one, because like the spiced bourbon is in there, it's almost like there's like a more warmth to it. and almost like a slight creaminess to it that I enjoy. That it's like the more warmer, creamier version of an apple cider rather than like the really sharp, vinegary one that we get from like Leaves and other apple cider fragrances. So I always appreciated the difference on this one. It is a subtle difference, but enough for me to like notice and appreciate it. So that was crisp apple cider right there. Yeah, this one and I think hot cider donuts I'll just burn together to get my fix. Let's see, moving on, we have sugared apple churro, and that's what that looks like. This one says warm apples, cinnamon sugar, vanilla caramel, a typo on that. It's like the same caramel that we had from pink lavender and espresso, toasted churro. That's what that looks like. Yeah, this one, honestly, I was hoping for more churro-ness. Like when you see the photo and you see churro on it, you're gonna imagine more of the greasiness and the sort of fried component that you get from cinnamon sugar donut and hot cider donut, or even like sugared beignets, but you don't quite get that. This is extremely reminiscent to old-fashioned cider donut from Bath & Body Works. Because this one I don't believe is coming out this year and you missed this one, check out the sugared apple churro. No idea how the performance or the throw is on the HomeWorx one, so I can't vouch for that. But yeah, boy, the fragrance on, yeah, is very similar. It's that same sort of brown sugar mixed with baked apples fragrance. Yeah, very similar. So if you want old-fashioned cider donut, but the HomeWorx version of it, I would check out sugared apple churro. It's still a nice apple bakery fragrance nonetheless, despite it not having the full-blown oily greasiness that I was looking for. Moving on, we have these like other labels. It's like they have, once again, the drinks must be the new trend for this season. Kind of like Amalfi was the huge trend for spring. Now we have the drink trend for, I guess, fall. Bath & Body Works is putting out drink fragrances like crazy. And then, of course, HomeWorx is doing the same thing. I most certainly think there's some kind of like industry, I don't want to say if it's a conference or a trend or, you know, studies or research or whatever the perfumery companies are doing. There must be some type of like trend report that all these companies are following. And so we have, let's see, Orchard Old Fashioned right there. I kind of like that retro wraparound on it, and it has a gold lid on it. Mulled apricot, aged bourbon, mulled spices, and cinnamon bark. Ooh, yeah. Well, this definitely has that sort of like alcoholic, boozy note. Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely like an alcoholic component to it. Once again, I don't drink, so is it bourbon or does it smell like an old fashioned? I can't tell you. It definitely has like an alcoholic component mixed with like your stone fruit peach apricot fragrance, which I really enjoy. And then it's mixed with like spices. Ooh, so it kind of reminds me of like, remember Vanilla Bourbon Peach from Bath & Body Works? I think that was way weirder and it had like this grody rubbing alcohol note that got really nasty when you were burning it. It's not that, but reminiscent of that in the sense that there's like a peach and a bourbon note in here, and this one's bourbon and apricot. But this one's definitely spicier than the BBW one, and the alcohol note is like totally different. But yeah, ooh, interesting. Okay, I like that. Orchard Old Fashioned right there. There was another one in that collection that I saw, and I picked it up. It was the only one that I saw. It was Ginger Chai Fizz right there, and it has a similar retro wraparound on it. This one reads ginger, pressed green apple, pumpkin chai spice, and vanilla bean. And okay, yeah, definitely get the ginger in there. Definitely like a spicy chai spice, I suppose. And then there's something sort of bright and fruity and effervescent about it, and almost like a sparkling apple wine or like an apple cocktail type of way, that take this from your usual like warm, like a hot chai tea fragrance into something that's a little bit more effervescent and bright, which is interesting for a chai fragrance. Yeah, okay, we'll have to see. I mean, outside of that, it kind of just has like a generic like potpourri fall spice type of fragrance feel to it overall. That while it's nice, there's something a little bit generic about it, to be honest. Ginger Chai Fizz right there. Moving on, there was just one random, I just love this like plaid print though, creamy oat milk latte. There was just one of this one. Cinnamon oat, milk, melted butter, vanilla cake, and warm maple syrup. The vanilla cake really came out of left field there. Let's see, creamy oat milk. Okay, ooh, that's kind of nice. Very milky and frothy and creamy. Kind of like your white caramel cold brew, what's her face, whipped coffee was the same thing. That realm of just like a milky, mapley, caramely drink fragrance. I would say it's not quite as caramely, sickeningly sweet, like almost like a caramel popcorn as the BBW whipped coffee counterpart is. A little bit more creamy, and it has like just a extra different, like, I guess oaty and oat milk quality to it, I suppose. Ooh, it's nice though. Yeah, have fun. It's just so nice to get like variety of fall, like, bakery or gourmand fragrances. So, like, you know, Goose Creek has been doing it, and then now we have HomeWorx as well. So it's just fun to have all this variety because BBW has just completely like slept on bakery fragrances for the fall time. So creamy oat milk latte right there. And we are wrapping up here. Let's see, blue hibiscus water, which is the one lone spring or summer fragrance that was at the stores, and that's what that looks like. Look at the iridescence on that. Ocean sea spray, island hibiscus, Hawaiian pineapple, and coconut water. And this one has like a light blue wax on it right there. And oh my god, I picked this up because this was so reminiscent of an old Slacken favorite that I haven't smelled in so long. And this is very similar to Seaside Escape, which, ooh, I think the last time we saw that was like 2012 when it's like the Square label release, and then did it come out either 2012 or 2013 in the SAS collection as a re-release with like the classic photo label on it. And then I haven't seen it since then. Yeah, wow, oh my god, this takes me back. This is totally like Seaside Escape mixed with the coconut water fragrance as well that we've had from Slacken & Co. / BBW. Yeah, if you mix Seaside Escape and coconut water, that's what you get. It's like this fruity coconut, like almost like a cocktail blend type of fragrance in there. Yeah, I mean, it's not boozy, but there's something, I guess, a little bit like sort of tropical fruit drink-ish about it in the way the coconut water mixes with like the pineapple and everything in there. But I do have to say this one has a little bit of almost like a floral laundry hint to it that makes it a little bit more hibiscusy rather than like straight up like fruity drink Seaside Escape. But I enjoy the reminiscence nonetheless. So yeah, blue hibiscus water right there. Sea Glass was also available. That one was like one of those like sort of like clean cucumber type of fragrances. It was nice, but it's just so like cucumbery and not enough like sweetness or floral to combat it that I didn't get that one. I also saw something called Cozy Weekend, which was some like almond and honey fragrance. Nice enough, sort of creamy and mellow, but it was just extremely light on cold, so I didn't need that. I came across a cashmere birch, didn't need that either. Let's see, I did also come across a chai latte, which I didn't buy. This is one that I had from previous, and that's what that looks like. This I saw many of them as well. Spice tea, steamed heavy cream, chai spice, and vanilla. Honestly, I burned this one, and I was kind of disappointed. It has a pretty light throw, and there's almost like a nutty, creamy, like chai spice fragrance to it. But just when you go to burn it, it just doesn't really deliver too much. That I just remember being like super disappointed by this candle, so I wouldn't recommend it, even though it smells decent enough on cold. But kind of generic. Let's see. And then the Fall Chrysanthemums is back. It's in an updated label. This is the original version from the original release that we see right here, and that's what that looks like. Yeah, this is another rare made in the USA 4-wick as well. As you can maybe see if it focuses, I don't know. But yeah, this is a made in the USA one. And so I still have this version, so I didn't pick up the new one in the updated label, but it did smell the same, just a little bit lighter than this original one. Yeah, whoa, oh my god, this is, I love how intense and unique this is. Carnation, jasmine, white birch, and violet leaves. This legit smells like fall chrysanthemums. It's crazy. It captures that sort of like bitter, metallic, leafy, like a dried, leafy, bitter, metallic quality of a chrysanthemum, like to the T. If you really want that like really dirty, earthy, bitter, metallic plant smell of chrysanthemum, perfectly captured in this fragrance. I remember this one being so immensely strong too. I don't know if the 4-wick Vietnam version will be, but this was very strong. Whoa, yeah. I loved how I almost contemplated because just this one's so unique, but I've honestly had this for since 2018, and I still haven't gone through it, so I was like, I don't think I need another one. And so I did see that as well. Anything else that I'm missing? I mean, they just had like the entire HomeWorx like store like at these stores. It was crazy. And then of course I already did a review on Mulberry Cobbler, and that was that right there. Mulberries, raspberry jam, spice maple, and cobbler crust. I like this. There's definitely like it smells a little stinky in almost like a cornbread type of way, but I enjoy that exists because it gives it that sort of a cobbler, crusty experience I would expect from a cobbler, mixed with like sort of a spiced cranberry and berry raspberry jam blend that I enjoy. So this one I actually quite like that one. I saw this one again, but I didn't need to pick up another one. And then this one, I only saw it that very first time I picked it up, and that's a Homestyle Stuffing right there. Toasted bread, melted butter, chopped sage, and fresh rosemary. This was nice too. Honestly, like more pleasant than the Bath & Body Works Thanksgiving Celebration one that had like the grodier, like fake mashed potato and gravy note in it. This one, once again, has a more emphasis on a toasted buttered bread, but it still has a little bit of that sort of gooiness from like you would get from the inside of like the stuffing, mixed with just enough of those like sort of herbs to make it smell like stuffing, but a less novelty and still very pleasant stuffing fragrance, surprisingly. So I enjoyed burning this one with the Mulberry Cobbler to get the full Thanksgiving feast experience. I was on the hunt for the cranberry sauce. I couldn't find that, and the sweet potato pie was the only other one that I was really looking for on all my pilgrimage, and I could not find the sweet potato pie, so I was bummed about that, but I found so many more candles than I would have ever imagined. So I'm just like completely loaded on HomeWorx now, probably more than I would ever have needed, but it was fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And let me know if you found any of these candles yourself. Leave all the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.